Good morning. I'm trying to do this setup thing again. How is everybody? Trying to get my parrot. Good morning, Betty. Hey, Bree. Hey, Bake to Go. Hey, Brienne. Hey, Brienne. Can I call you Bree? Hi, Sweet Justice. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Tracy. That doesn't look real good. That looks crooked. It's a little crooked. Okay, so I definitely have a delay on my laptop. So yeah, good morning, everybody. Hey, Denise. Hey, Dees. Hey, yes, it is. It's Brienne's page. Woohoo! If you guys can go ahead and share. Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning home-based baker coffee chat. Ta-da! So I started this new thing last week, kind of jumping on the bandwagon. Hey, Gina. For shout outs. Last week we talked about, let me introduce myself because I realized there's a lot of new people. So my name is Lauren. I am the owner of Bella's Desserts, which is a home-based business located in Pennsylvania. It'll be 13 years in December. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. J. Newbie. Yay. Perfect. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Rose. Rochelle Love. Okay, tell me your name. Good morning. Rose, is your name Rose? Rochelle Love. Oh, I'm going to call you Rose. Hey, Rosita. Welcome. So, yes, my name is Lauren, not Bella. Rochelle. Thank you. Okay, Rochelle. Beautiful name. I love it. Jay, go ahead and share, please. So, last week we talked about the importance of a Facebook business page and taught you how to set it up. And look who did the work. Miss Brienne, owner of Breezy Sweets, who is in the process of becoming legal in the state of North Carolina because she just moved there. So proud, and her page is beautiful and it's set up perfectly. I think the only thing I would say is, Bree, once you do become legal, change that from arts and humanities to an actual business. But I'll tell you, that cake up there is gorgeous. So she added all this new content, all these new photos. This girl's been busy, and I don't know if she did this for her website or if she did this, these are actual jobs, but she's off to an amazing start, and this is just great and beautiful. So go ahead and like her page. I liked her page yesterday, and I invited all my caking friends, and you could do the same. And this is how it works, people. Go ahead and send me your link, and I'll do the same. The other shout out I want to give, their practice, even better, man. You put in the work. I love you. Okay. Another shout out I want to give to, and I mentioned it yesterday, but most of you weren't here, is to this lovely woman named Alicia. She is the owner of Sweet Treats by Alicia, and I found her a couple weeks ago and realized that she does personal scopes for people. And I happened to be the recipient of one yesterday, and that was how to make royal icing, and I did it. Total girl crush. I did it side by side with her. I now know how to make a beautiful royal icing, and I'm so excited. Please follow her. She does scopes every night. She's on the West Coast. You'll have to contact me through Facebook and send me the link. Rochelle, if you look at catch.me/Bellas_desserts, my scope is up there last week on how to go about doing that. So everybody follow Alicia because you'll learn so much. That's all I gotta say. Okay, so let me turn you around. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you all? She is great. So, hi, Denise. Does anybody have any questions about the Facebook scope last week? Okay, Rosita, thanks for jumping in. Or any of my scopes before I get started. So, you're welcome, Ray. Yes, a comment, please. Denise, you have the floor. Today we're talking about invoicing. If you're not boosting, you need to. Oh, right. If you're not boosting, you need to. And that's from the scope last week. Yes, it's on catch. It's always on. It's on there forever. Yeah, I boosted a couple posts this week. One being for Christmas cookies and so on. It's really great. It's like $5, and your reach is amazing as long as you keep it local. It all counts. So good. You have a page on Facebook. Go ahead and find me at Bella's Desserts and send me the link. Love to see it. Love to see everything. So I can't remember from here, so if you send me the link. But everybody else, yes. Sassy sweets and edible treats. Invoicing. It's Bella. Who's Bella? Oh, Bella's Desserts on Facebook. So in overhead, let's start with overhead because that'll be quick because I did that in my tax write-off, but there seems to be, I just want to clarify write-offs and I mean overhead and how to figure that out, okay? And I'm going to pull up, I made a little cheat sheet for y'all. Let me turn it around. If you want to go ahead and screenshot that. This, oh, wait, let me scroll down. Let me, hold on. Let me zoom out a little bit so y'all can see. Get it on one page. All right, it's all on one page. Go ahead and screenshot again. Sorry, I just got it all on one page. This is the calculation for you to figure out how to figure out your overhead, okay? Which, if you're filing taxes, you should have already figured this out. But Kara did a scope last week about, you know, you can't really figure out your overhead. It's too complicated. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not complicated at all. And the more thoroughly you know your costs, the better you can figure out how to price. Okay. So this is the really, it's not hard. It's just, you got to know the calculation. Totally essential. So step one. All right. Step one. Yeah. Hold on. Is that better? Is it still blurry? Still blurry? It looks clear on mine. Okay, so step one. Measure the square footage of your home and any other space which is housing business stuff, like your garage, your basement, your kitchen, so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to pull this back so I don't have to hold it. Hold on. Okay, so that's step one. And the way to figure out your square footage is length times width in feet equals your square footage. Okay, so for example, 50 feet times 50 feet is 2,500 square feet. Okay, that's the first thing you need to do is figure out the square footage of your entire home, including any space you use for business, such as your garage. Once you figure that out, then you want to measure the square footage of every space you use for business. Good morning, Adriana. For instance, I did a walkthrough of my house and you can see I use space in my garage. I use space in my basement. I use my dining room. I have an office space. I use my kitchen. So you want to measure all the bits and pieces of your home and figure out the square footage. Again, using the same calculation of length times width. Okay, and you might have to, like, each room will have a list, length times width, and then you just add it up, and that'll give you their total square footage of your business usage. So example, a total of 30 feet times 20 feet is 600 square feet. Okay, so got that so far? Whole house, business use, square footage. Oh, well, I went to school I am an interior architect. anyway, so that's how I knew how to do that. But I know how to do this overhead because of my accountant. Step 3, okay? You're going to divide your business square feet by your overall square footage. For example, above we have 600 square feet for your business, 2,500 square feet for your home. So you take 600 square feet divided by 2,500 equals 0.24 or 24%. 24% is your business percentage of your home bills. 24%, or whatever yours is. Mine is 15%. Okay, you're all going to have your own percentage, which is why y'all need to do this work to figure it out, because this is really important. Step 4, add up. I use Quicken, so it's easy for me. Add up all of go through your checkbook, go through whatever you got. Go through, and this is like a year-end sort of thing. Okay, so you want to go through and you want to add up all of your utilities. Every single one. That includes cable TV, that includes internet, that includes your oil, your gas, your electricity, your cell phone, your mortgage, your rent, your insurance, anything you pay to keep your house going. You want to add all that up. Okay. Once you've added all up, you multiply it by the percentage you just figured out. Okay. So for an example, say I spend $3,000 a year on all my utilities. Okay. I'm going to multiply that by 24% because that's my business usage percentage. Now I know that my overhead for the year is $720. $720 is my overhead for the year. You take that number, you divide it by 356, which is how many days are in the year, and that gives you your daily overhead price. Okay, so $720 from step 4 divided by 356 equals $2.02. You want to round up or round down depending on how many cents there are. In this case, it was 2.024, so I rounded down to 202. Oh, 365. Sorry, 300. Duh. I always flip that. Hold on a second. Okay, screenshot. Sorry. Yeah, I'm so savvy. I can figure out the square footage, but I don't know how many days are in a year. Oh my God. Okay, so step 5, divide. So you have your overhead for the year divided by 365. You come up with your daily overhead rate. And then you add that, for instance, the day you go shopping, the day you bake, the day you make your frosting, and however many days you decorate. Okay, every single day costs $2.02 in overhead. This is your overhead. Okay, you don't have employees because you're home based, so you don't have that overhead. This is everything else. $2.02 a day. You add that in to your bottom line because that is an expense. Not only is it an expense, this is what you write off. Remember we talked about write-offs? See how easy that was? The hardest part is getting a tape measure and measuring all those spaces. That's the hardest part of figuring out your overhead. You don't need to look at kilowatt hours. You don't need to do any of that. This is how my accountant does it for my taxes. This is how you're going to do it. And once you figure this out, you're one step closer to figuring out that real price. Okay, so for instance, something that takes you days to make, like you cake poppers out there, I know you bake the cake, then another day you dip them, then I don't know how many days you spend, decorating those things, but I'm guessing probably a total of 4 days it takes you to do the cake pop order. So then you take your $2.02, multiply it by 4, and add that on. That's part of your pricing. That's part of how you figure it out. And that's a lot of money. 4 days, that's $8, okay, that you're not adding in to figure out your price. This is really important and it adds up. And you need to add that in for every single day you work on an order. Okay? Any questions? Any questions? You want me to get closer again? That's right. Cookies can take several days. Cakes take separate. Some of my cakes take, my electric guitar cake, probably I worked on that cake every day for about a week and a half because of all the sugar pieces. Even though I only worked for an hour on a day, it doesn't matter. It's still a day of overhead. Okay. And that's tax deductible, and that should be in your pricing. Okay. I changed the number of days in a year. So if you want to screenshot it, have at it. Any questions? If there's no questions, I must be really good at my job. That's right. Labor intensive work such as cookies, pops, intense cakes, all of that. Okay, great. All right, so now we're going to move on then. Now that you've got all that, anybody wants to email me or contact me, I can send you the hard copy of this. Okay, so let's talk invoices. And Jay, keep your mouth shut. This is for Excel. Whoops. This is for Excel. I've just started in QuickBooks, and but this is before, and this is easily accessible. I want to get this. Shut up, Jay. I want to get this. This is how I did it before, and I think this is more accessible right now than QuickBooks. If you're using QuickBooks, this doesn't pertain to you. This is what my invoices always look like. I'm going to move this over so it's more head-on. These are what my invoices look like. Yes, I'm switching. So this is an Excel, and this is something I made. And, well, this is now QuickBooks. This is what my QuickBooks, hold on. This is my first invoice that I did in QuickBooks. So it's a little bit different, but it gets the same, point across. Okay. So why are invoices important? Okay. I know I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming a lot of you guys send emails with the prices in it, right? If you're sending emails and saying such and such an order is going to cost you so much money, that is not an invoice. Okay. Okay. Thanks. An invoice is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that you attach to an email. Okay. In a lot of cases, such as large events or cakes or cookies or cake pops that are really detailed, you want the client to sign off on this invoice, because what this is this is what they're getting. This is what you're giving them. This is a record for you and for them, and it's not going to get lost in an email. You keep it on your computer. I've got 13 years of these on my computer. Okay. So, this isn't going to be a lesson in Excel and how to set up columns and all of that. If you want to screenshot, please do. Do you invoice? Yes, absolutely. Every single order, including just a tasting, which says a tasting, is an invoice. It's a hard copy piece of paper for them. It's got all the information too. It's got my address. It's got my phone number. And I can't tell you, I still send this to people. No, this is not a contract. No, not a contract. All this is the information for the order that they're getting. It has all the detail of their order. And I'll read this in a minute. This is not a contract. This is an invoice. Big difference. The reason why I have them sign this in weddings and other large events is because there might be a lot of detail here, and I want them to read it to make sure I didn't miss anything, or if they wanted to change something. And once they sign it, that's what they're getting. So if I get to the venue and they're like, wait, what happened to this? What happened to that? It's like, did you see the invoice that you signed? That's what this is for. So this is totally separate than a contract, which you absolutely do need. Invoice donate. I don't invoice for donations because I use a different software program that keeps track of losses, meaning donations and whatever. So I don't invoice for that. Plus, I think invoicing for donations kind of throws it in their face in a way. Personally, I don't do that. If you do that, that's great. So my invoices now have a logo on it. But the way I do my dates, my invoice number is the date of the pickup. So my invoice number is, this one is for pickup on February 7th. So my invoice number is 020715. Okay. The date below is the date that I gave them the invoice. Okay. Which in this case was February 3rd. Yes. Invoice is a receipt. Absolutely. Then I have the customer's name, email, and phone number. Well, if you only do family, this is more for once you're not doing family and you're dealing with paying customers. That's what this is for. This is not for free work, like for friends and family. This is once you become a business. You need these paper trails. It doesn't matter. You know, it's rare that I have more than like 2, maybe 3 things on the same date. Doesn't matter for me. It helps me keep track of what date that was due, and I go from there. I don't have 50 orders in a day. If I had 50 orders in a day, I'd probably do the invoice number different. So this line here, I have comments or special instructions, and what that mostly means is when they're picking it up. Okay, so this isn't just for me because I print these out, and I have a corkboard downstairs, and you know, a lot of people do this a different way. Brick and mortars will do this a different way, but I print out the month in advance and I pin them up on my board, and I can see when they're picking things up and what time. This is also for the client too, because this is for you and the client, this invoice. Okay, so I have 4 columns: quantity, description, unit price, and amount. Okay, so what's great about Excel, and this is why I used Excel for this, is because you have auto sum and whatever, do the math for you. So you don't have to get out your calculator. You could set it up with an auto sum, which again is an Excel tool, which again, I'm not teaching you how to use Excel. I'm just showing you my invoice. Okay. So in this case here, this was for a 2-tiered cake, which was a 6-inch and a 10-inch. I'm giving him as much information as possible. And this is even more important for larger events. But this wasn't for this was a baby shower. Okay. So that 1-tiered cake, 2-tiered cake tells them the sizes of the cake. Say both tiers to be chocolate cake with vanilla Swiss meringue buttercream chocolate mousse filling. Top tier to be baby blue with white and red life ring and red anchor on the top with the white rope border. Now this is for them to double check. It's also for me when I'm making the cake. Bottom tier to have an alternating dark and light blue fondant stripes with red border welcome baby banner. Okay, so all my colors, all my sizes, all my details are written out in one place, okay, for me and the client, okay? And then once you put all that stuff in and you've done the math and it's added everything up, I do a subtotal. I have weddings are different. I'll have a tasting fee because I take those off. I have deposits paid. I have delivery fees. And again, if you have a delivery fee, you'll want to add that in. So when I get a payment, I'll do deposit paid, and I will put the amount here. I will send them a copy of this so they know that the deposit is paid, and when their final payment is due, I will also send them an invoice with a 0 balance. No, I don't draw out my it's very, very rare that I draw a cake. And if I do, yes, I would do it. What I've started doing is when people send me pictures, I attach them. Yes, it's on catch.me and on replay. I don't delete my stuff. I'll like if someone sends me a picture of a cake that they like, I will attach that picture just for their reference. I say down here, might have missed this, but how long do you keep? I keep my invoices are on my computer. For the paper copies, I throw them out except for weddings. I clip everything together, include their contract, the invoice, and anything else, and I keep that indefinitely. I use Square. I just started using Square. But this is just for invoicing. This isn't bookkeeping. This is invoicing. Okay, big difference. Make all checks payable to who do you want them to make the checks payable to? And then make sure they know that there's a 25, now that I give my contracts to everybody, I actually got rid of this $25 fee for all return checks because that's in the contract they sign. And I say, thank you for your business. When I receive a payment, I ordered these great things from Vistaprint. They're stamps. Add the fee in your invoice. What fee? Do I add what fee in my invoice, Adriana? Is what just saying, where is she? I was just saying, where is she? Oh, no, you cannot charge your customer any fees. You cannot charge them a Square fee. You cannot charge them a credit card fee. You cannot charge them for that. It is illegal to charge a PayPal fee, to say this is a PayPal fee. You have got to build that into your price. It is illegal to charge someone a credit card fee, meaning I can't write here saying credit card fee and put a price. It's illegal. You have to build that in. It is illegal. Well, you got to build it in to your price. But the thing is once you get busier and you get larger and you want to accept credit cards, believe me, okay, you want to accept credit cards. I don't accept credit cards for anything under $100. No, I do not put a convenience fee. Nope, I don't. I build that into my price. My price, Jay, is such that, hey there, Sugar Touches, how are you? My pricing structure is priced to take in, no, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You build it in by pricing correctly and putting enough of a cushion. If you have if someone comes to you and they say, you know, I want this and I want that, and you figure out, you have to calculate the price, you can, add it into your buttercream. Exactly. Add it into the price because, first of all, I don't take credit cards for orders under $100. Okay, it's just not worth my time. That's right. But if you have like $1,000 order, you know, Square is like 2 point something or whatever, you know, that could be a big hit, but you just want to ask the person maybe before you give them, no, I wouldn't even ask if they're paying by credit card because you don't want to let them think that they're going to be paying for their credit card fee because it's a convenience for them and it's a convenience for you. Okay. So you want to make it invisible. So when you're figuring it out, just assume if it's a really large order, they're going, yeah, that's why I'm doing Square. Exactly. Because PayPal's 4%. Just because if it's a really large order, assume they're going to do a credit card and just build that in before you give them the quote. If you go through PayPal and it's 4%, add 4% to your quote, but they don't know that you built that in. It's all about building it in. Like you don't tell someone I'm charging you for my electricity, right? So you don't tell them you're charging them for that. Why is that a problem? You mean they're not sending it to you after you invoice them? Again, that goes to the contract thing. Well, that's a deposit. Kim, you need to take your customers in hand. Can I flip you around now? I'm going to flip you around. Okay, so when I send an invoice to someone, I make it really clear, and this is in the contract, okay? A 50% non-refundable retainer is due before you're in my schedule. I'm going to send you an invoice, and if you don't pay it, and someone else comes forward and pays me, sorry. I make it really clear in the contract that you have to sign. I make it really clear in my emails that without that retainer, you do not have an order. So if someone, you say, I have a 50% retainer rule, you send them the full invoice. You don't say due upon receipt. You don't do anything because basically the bottom line is if they don't pay, they don't get their order, right? So if they want to pay you a retainer and you do take retainers, then you just, when you receive their retainer, you send them a receipt of that retainer. That's right. So, I was saying, I ordered these great things through Vistaprint. One says paid and one says deposit paid. Okay, so when a deposit comes in, here, I have, when a deposit comes in, I stamp my invoice. Oh, they were cheap. And Vistaprint's always having sales. I've had these for years and they still have the ink in them. So when the deposit comes in, I can take a quick glance and I know that the deposit it's paid. And I'll just write in what the deposit was or the retainer, whatever. I won't print out a new piece of paper. But I do update my Excel spreadsheet and I send them a copy saying, okay, now you know what the balance is due is. And I'll say your balance is due a month out or whatever whenever you want the balance. And then once it's fully paid, I use my other stamp and it's paid. So now I know by first glance, I got all their money. I don't need to worry about money. It's time to make some cake or pops or cookies or whatever you do. Okay. And again, all this kind of stuff stems from my ADD. Like, I'll never remember, especially if someone orders 6 months in advance. How do I remember, right? Well, I can remember, if it's more than a month out, I've got a file drawer where I keep all my orders in order of dates. So I can just look and pull it out and stamp it. But also, you know, on Excel, you'll have how much they paid, and whatever bookkeeping stuff you have, you will see that they paid. That's where my ADD rocks. Sucks. So anymore, don't put anything. Yes, I've been home-based all 13 years. I worked in the corporate world for a lot of years. I've worked in restaurants. Remind me to talk about food safety. Anna's not here, but there was something yesterday that flipped me out. And I want to talk about food safety. I've worked in restaurants. I've taken the food serve and all of that kind of stuff, and it's kind of big. Once I blocked you by mistake. How do I? Oh, look in your blocked, Cake Artist. Look in your blocked users, and you can unblock her. Oh, that's good to know because I do stuff through Etsy. I do custom cross stitches. I like that. So it's all about paperwork. It's all about keeping track. Yeah, so I've worked in restaurants, but corporate world, yes. But I've been doing this from home for 13 years. And it was before Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff. So all this stuff I learned myself by books, by internet researching, by trial and error. That's why my contracts are, 1 and 2 pages long because they all started out short. And like my wedding contract started out half a page. It's now 2 pages because you learn things the hard way. So everything I'm talking about, oh, good, Kim, I'm glad you use it. Everything I talk about in my scopes is my personal experience, having done this for 13 years. The only thing I'm going to say about safety, okay, I was watching the Periscope yesterday, and I don't wear gloves. And anybody that's seen my scopes when I do when I do scopes with baking or whatever, I don't wear gloves. It's not required in my state. I wash my hands frequently. I know about food safety because I've worked in restaurants, okay? And the restaurants I worked at, I've worked in 4-star restaurants on the line, I've worked in 3-star restaurants, and I've worked in sandwich shops. Never anywhere did we have to wear gloves, okay? I don't care if you wear gloves or not. But I was watching a scope yesterday, and the person licked her finger because she wanted to taste it. She licked her finger, and then she handled the paddle. Okay. She got very upset when people were pointing it out to her because I don't think she realized that. And she even said, I didn't touch it with this hand. I touched it with this hand. And I'm really hoping she watched the replay because I watched the replay. And in fact, the finger that she licked, she grabbed the top of the paddle and then she grabbed it with her clean hand. But I think she forgot about when she hit that. So when she got so angry at people and she's like, that's a way to get blocked. Keep on coming, keep on doing it. And it's like, okay, you licked your finger and you touched the paddle. It wasn't just me. There were several people and she got really angry. And again, if you scope replay, she washed her hands after. But yes, in restaurants, we have like buckets of spoons. No, especially home-based people. If you've never worked in a brick and mortar or a restaurant, it's you might think it's common sense, but for a lot of people, it really isn't. And even with gloves, if you're wearing gloves and you stick it in your mouth, it doesn't matter that you're wearing gloves. You're still sticking something in your mouth and then touching the food. Okay, so that's why it doesn't matter to me that I don't wear gloves. I'm washing my hands. Yes, serve safe. It's just kind of common sense. But if you're scoping, watch it. But when I used to work in restaurants, we would have buckets of tasting spoons, because if you dip a spoon into something to taste it, you don't dip it in again, especially, for your family. I'm not talking about your family. I'm talking about the stuff and I am guilty of, I watch some of my scopes and I see that I'm doing this or whatever, and it drives me crazy. Oh, gross, pink lady, that's disgusting. Oh my God. And people get so, like this one person, I guess she got so angry, it makes me think that people say it quite often. I know a lot of people who watch Periscopes give people crap about not wearing gloves. People have asked me, and it's like, it's not required where I live and my hands are clean. So, and like I said, if you have gloves on and you still lick your finger, you're still licking your finger. It doesn't matter that you have gloves on or not. So, bottom line is, if you're going to cook for other people, you do not double dip. Exactly. You do not double dip the tasting spoon, and you do not, well, I don't know about fake nails. I don't wear them. So, why? Because they can fall off. That would be disgusting. That's like Band-Aids. Don't mix anything when you have Band-Aids on. Don't double dip. Keep a thing of spoons. Don't stick your finger in and taste it. Even if you wash your hands, I still think that's gross because there might have been something on your finger. Don't do that. Oh, bacteria. Gross. Ew, gross. You guys are grossing me out. I don't wear fake nails. My nails are very short because when I deal with fondant and stuff, I tend to get my nail marks in it. So I don't keep my nails long anyway. That is so gross. So just beware. And like I said, I've been, I do scopes and I'll see. Yeah. Rings, it's like if you're sticking your whole hands in, I take my rings off, but if you're not working with your whole hand and you're just working with your fingertips, I don't think it's a problem with rings. But again, it's just common sense. And that scope just bugged the crap out of me. And she got so angry and belligerent and was threatening to block that it was like, I couldn't even watch anymore. It was so gross. But obviously she's been called out many times because she got so upset. Repeat about licking your fingers and then touching the food. Yeah, the first thing you learn in food, like if you worked in restaurants or in culinary school, one of the first things you learn is food safety. But for a lot of people who are starting home-based businesses to be stay-at-home moms or whatever and haven't had experience in retail establishments, they wouldn't necessarily know that. The ins and outs of food safety. You think it's common sense, but a lot of times, like I said, when I'm watching my replays and I'm like, oh my God, like I did this and then it freaks me out. But that's the other reason why whenever I'm baking, I keep my hair up. You should keep your hair up, and it's not just to keep hair out of the food. It's also to keep your hands from like going like this or going like this or whatever. Okay. Like when my hair is up, I don't touch anything. Keep a nail brush at your sink. In my state, you're required to do service safe training. Well, oh yeah. And every state's different. And I do know in some states you have to do that. And I think Bree, if you're still here, they had to do that in North Carolina. Yep, Serve Safe's great because if you don't, and it's not just about keeping your hands clean. A lot of it's about food safety temperatures. For instance, in my state, I'm not allowed to make cheesecakes and custards and stuff like that. Fillings, I do, but not like cream pies because foodborne illnesses, if you don't know the correct temperatures, how to cool things, how to reheat things, and what temperature to keep things in, bacteria can grow, salmonella, so, all these other nasty things. So it's important for things like that. Texas doesn't allow it either. Yeah, that falls under the Department of Health here, and you're not allowed to cook out of your home with the Department of Health. So, Does anybody have any questions? That was just, I had to get that in today. I'm sorry, but anybody have any questions about invoices or overhead? Do you want to see the pictures again, or you're okay with invoices and the importance about them? Oh, okay, cool. My daughter got salmonella from a deli when she was 1, and she also had rotavirus at the same time and was in the hospital for a week at 1 year old. It was a freaking nightmare. So I'm very conscious about that kind of thing. And also because I worked in restaurants, I had to take that course. And so I know about temperatures and how to cool things down properly and all of that. And, you know, you don't even have to take the class. You can look online for, you know, basic information. It was really scary. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. So you got my shout outs. You're all going to like Breezy Sweets page. And you're all going to... Sweet Treats by Alicia, Periscopes. It was like side by side with her. It was great. People make scared when try out Swiss meringue buttercream. I do Swiss meringue buttercream, and it's not scary to me at all because I have a thermometer, and I cook my egg whites and sugar together till they reach 140 degrees. So, that's another thing. If you're making a Swiss meringue buttercream, which I guess in some states it's illegal, it's not here, you have to know how to cook those egg whites and what temperature to cook those egg whites to kill off any, because that's why a lot of people use the pasteurized egg whites. I don't like them. 140, yep. Because they're already been heated and they're food safe. Whereas if you're doing a true Swiss meringue buttercream where you're cracking the eggs, you got to cook those egg whites to a certain, you're basically pasteurizing the eggs, as well as melting the sugar, but it's got to be to 140 degrees to kill off any bacteria that might be there. So your a Swiss meringue buttercream isn't raw eggs. It is, cooked. Just like you cook your eggs in your cake. But that was why with the royal icing, I didn't want to use the raw egg white royal icing. Like I wouldn't use a raw egg white gum paste. I'm not comfortable with that because what happened to my daughter? I mean, foodborne illness is not fun and it can kill people. Yep. A lot of people can't use Swiss because of where they live. I've always used Swiss, and I didn't start offering American buttercream until 6 years into business and even so, after 13 years, I've done less than 10 orders with American buttercream because people prefer my Swiss and because no one else does Swiss around here. So my Swiss meringue buttercream, when I first started and still today, is what makes me stand out. And I'm talking a real Swiss meringue buttercream. I've tried the other ones. I don't like them. They're not the same. Anything with powdered sugar is not a Swiss meringue buttercream, in my opinion. Yeah, if you go to catch.me/Bellas_desserts, I do a every Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, home-based baker coffee chat, talk about the business of being a home-based baker. Yeah, you have got to have a digital thermometer. Sometimes no one else around here does it. Yep. But like in the South, okay, I can't imagine that Swiss meringue is that popular because the Southern people tend to like really sweet frosting, and that's American buttercream. Up here in the North, and I can't speak for anywhere else, in the North and the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic straddles that American buttercream and Swiss meringue buttercream. Yes, it's like silk. I've had some people that are like, oh my God, it tastes too much like butter. It's all personal taste, which is why I offer both. But my main go-to is Swiss meringue. And even in tastings, when I offer both, 9 times out of 10, they go for the Swiss. And I'm talking true Swiss, not Swiss meringue Swiss. I mean, not powdered sugar Swiss. That to me is not a true Swiss meringue buttercream, and it drives you crazy. And you can fight with me all that you want, but this is my Periscope, and I'm telling you. If you went to culinary school, you know what a true Swiss meringue buttercream is. Okay? Yay, Brie! I offer American only because I'd rather offer it than lose the customer because they didn't like my frosting, right? And cost comparison, it costs more. I don't care. I charge, my costs are based on those recipes. Again, your pricing cannot be arbitrary. That's right. And when I do put out both and they're like, what is this? It tastes like my Swiss tastes like whipped cream. And people loved that. But with a powdered sugar and any buttercream, and I don't care what you say to me, I always taste the grit. And I've tried Lauren Kitchen's. I've tried a lot of recipes of the kind of Swiss meringue buttercream. And I taste the grit, and once you've had real Swiss, you never go back. So, but I know, like when really hot climates, like where Lauren Kitchens lives in Texas, they kind of don't have a choice. They have to use a stable buttercream, which is American with powdered sugar, or Swiss with powdered sugar. I get the reasoning, but as far as flavor, you will never sell me on the fact that it is the same as real Swiss, because it's not. And might not be as sweet. It's the grit. A real Swiss is silk on your tongue. Yep. Me too. So you're all going to start doing invoices, right? Not just throwing prices in emails, right? Yeah, and the Swiss meringue, a lot of people do an Italian meringue style where you do what you do. For me, Swiss is easier. Even though it's more stable to do the Italian style where you pour the sugar in, it's more stable. I screw it up. I don't know why. The Swiss for me is just a lot easier. The Swiss meringue method. But if you're pouring the syrup in, that would be called an Italian meringue buttercream. Good morning, Borka. How are you? Do you know if the sheets are available to do manually? Oh, the invoice sheets? Well, just make one up in Excel. I mean, I built my own in Excel. Oh, you don't own a computer. Mrs. Cortez, are you just doing stuff for family? Italian is more stable because you're heating the sugar syrup up to a much higher degree. And I think that's what makes it more stable. Everybody says it's more stable. I've tried it a couple times and it was an epic failure. Yeah, you can probably don't they sell like notebooks or something of invoices? You're trying to branch out. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Go to Staples or Office Depot, and they probably have pads of invoices. And if you're just starting out, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Just go get a pad of invoices and you can personalize it with a sticker or something, and just write it in. I think that's a great idea. Okay, dollar store too. Mrs. Cortez, there you go. If you don't have a computer though, that means you have to hand deliver that invoice or mail it to them. It's in the 70s and sunny. I'm so excited, but it's going to be in the 50s starting tomorrow. So organization is so key. And also it's, not just you got to get a computer, Miss Cortez. I'm sorry, but emails, keeping paper trails via email, because phone calls, there's no trail. It's a he said, she said thing. And that goes to the contracts. And again, you might not be ready for that. You're welcome. You might not be ready to jump to contracts and all of that kind of thing, but when you do, call me. Oh, thanks, Adria. Your beautiful blue hearts. All right. I think we're done. Are we done? Any more questions? Again, Bella's Desserts on Facebook. You can private message me. Forager.com. Yes, I talked about that in one of my first scopes. Forager.com is your one-stop shop for finding out A, if it's legal in your state, and B, put you in the right direction to get legal. If it's not legal in your state, you're taking your life into your own hands. You're welcome. Yes, everything, you got to have a paper trail. Thanks, Bree. No, Rain, I would start by going to forager.com to see if it's even legal in your state, and it will tell you what department you need to call if it is legal. New York is very tight, and New York is very similar to Delaware and Maryland in that you can only sell at farmers markets. Like, you can't have people come pick up at your house. You cannot deliver. It has to be sold in a market setting. A lot of states have income caps. New Jersey is illegal. They're trying hard to get a bill passed. Everything for every state. Yep. Thanks, Bree. Forager.com is state by state. So if it's saying in Georgia you do need certain things, that's, it's just every state is different. Not only is every state different, in my state, the counties are different. And then I have to get permission from my town, too. Everywhere is different. Forager is a great place to start for your state. And then it kind of goes from there. Yeah, you have to sell at farmers markets. But everybody, everybody's cheating everywhere. I mean, there are people in the illegal states that are doing it. I just really hope they don't get caught. I'm telling you, just call Department of Agriculture. Easy. Oh, if you're in Georgia. I'm sorry, Curly Duchess. If someone was asking about Georgia, yes, I'm sorry. Sorry, I apologize. Just for some of those that were following me, and I mentioned a month or so ago about the gal in New Jersey who hasn't been scoping, and I'm not sure why, who does a lot of work, beautiful, beautiful work, and does a lot of it, and was scoping a lot. And I had watched her and then found out it was illegal in New Jersey. There's a group on Facebook that are trying to get the law passed in New Jersey. Oh, not at all, Curly Duchess. I'm sorry. They told me what will happen if you're caught in New Jersey, and I assume this is the way it is in most states where it's illegal. You will get a cease and desist order first. Meaning you better shut down. And if they catch you again, you will get fined. I have heard of fines up to $15,000. Is it worth it for that cake? And if you're really, really busy and you're in a state that is illegal, they have incubator kitchens. Oh. Well, it depends on like for instance, in New York, Maryland, and Delaware, you can only sell at farmers markets, but you can cook from home. You don't need a commercial kitchen. Yeah. But if they have home bakeries in New Jersey, they're doing it illegally, period. There is no cottage food law there. It keeps getting bumped off the docket. It's really frustrating, I'm sure. There's a great group on Facebook. I just messaged them to find out more for scopes. And in Florida, you have to have a commercial kitchen in Florida. Wow. And not to mention in Florida, you have a $15,000 cap. It's like, I guess they really don't want you doing that from home, because not only do you have to build a commercial kitchen, but now you can only make $15,000 a year. Well, they haven't got, you can have a website and be illegal. There's a cap. If you look on forager.com, Mrs. Cortez, every single, like my state doesn't have a cap. Florida has a $15,000 cap. But there are places like, I think California or Vegas or something has a $50,000 cap. You just want to know where you live, in what the state you live, if there is a cap. There's a cap in New York too. They really make it hard for you. I'm not sure why. I'm just thankful in Pennsylvania, it's the Department of Agriculture. There are certain things not allowed, like cheesecakes and stuff, and that has to go with food safety, and there's no income cap. So I'm very lucky. I don't know, but you can find out on forager.com. Did someone type that again? It's Forrager. It kind of has a map of the country, and you can click on your different states, and it tells you if there's a cap, if it's legal, if there's a cap, and what department you need to contact. 10,000 in New York? Again. I guess they don't want you to work out of your home. You know something though, rules are always changing. Laws are only always changing. Look at California and Texas just got legal within the last few years. So things are changing. If you, like those people in Florida, and I know there's a lot of them who are so frustrated by the $15,000 cap that, you know, I'm hoping they're going to their legislature or they're writing their congressmen or their senators or whoever. That's how you get stuff done. You have to have a lobbying group that are going to go and say, this is ridiculous. I can't make a living. Why make it legal if you won't let me make any money? So go and try to get your cap raised. In the states where it's illegal, find the group, because there's always groups on Facebook for the states that aren't legal who have the up-to-date information on, look up, like I think it's New Jersey Cottage Food Group or something like that. And they give you updates on where they are in government and what they're trying to do. If it's going to be on the ballots in the next sessions, fight for it. Fight for raising those caps. Fight for, you know, what you don't like in your laws, especially if you're new, because they're always evolving. It's not easy and it might not happen right away, but unless someone speaks up, it'll never get changed. You have to be a self-advocate. That's what we're teaching my 14-year-old right now, is how to be a self-advocate. You can complain and bitch and moan all you want, but if you don't do anything about it, nothing will get changed. They wanted us to have a grease trap in your home. Ugh. Grease trap. That's so bizarre because, well, it depends on what you're making. Like in my case, for cakes and everything else, I'm just using my oven. A grease trap is if you're making food that is producing grease, like in a kitchen, but baking doesn't produce any grease. So that's kind of strange, having a grease trap. I mean, you definitely need grease traps if you're under the Department of Health or if you're doing catering or anything like that from your home. You need a grease trap because that's like a restaurant. So it helps prevent fires. It helps prevent screwing up your septic system or your public water sewer system, and so on and so forth. These are all different laws and rules that are just basic common sense. So, but forager.com is a great place to start, and you take it from there. And if you're not legal, Mrs. Cortez, join me every Wednesday. My regulars in here will tell you, you learn a lot on Wednesday morning about the home-based business of being a baker. Because we have our whole other set of issues. Please tell the lost man I spoke to that. I told him I'm not frying or cooking. I'm sorry. Oh, thanks, you guys. Yeah, so I mostly talk about business. Sometimes I'll do a scope, like I did one for Naked Cakes last week because I was making one, and Lori from Whisk Confections happened to have gotten an order, and you know, it was helpful to her. So it's rare that I do that, but I do. But mostly I talk about business because, mostly I talk about business, and because I've been doing this for 13 years, I hear people on scopes that are like, oh, I've been doing this forever, like 5 years. It's like, I've been doing it forever, like 13. It wasn't before the internet, but it was before Facebook and YouTube. And, you know, you guys, it's so easy. That's why I told them just to call Department of Agriculture, and they went, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't realize they were in Georgia. That would irritate me too. So yeah, I've been in business forever. I love this though, because I was by myself. I had to teach myself everything because there wasn't anything like this. So that's why I started this Wednesday morning chat, because it's still not easy to find, although Forager makes it easier, but it's still not easy to find common sense business information, because you're not a brick and mortar. You don't have employees. We don't have employees. We don't have that overhead. No, I'm not going to teach you how to price. I paid a lot for that knowledge. But I will, like today, we went over overhead and how to figure that out. That's something really important. To figure out your pricing. But I talked about contracts today. We talked about invoicing. We're talking about everything that's really important as a home-based baker. Yeah. Exactly. I had to go places to take classes. Like I had to go to New York and I had to go to different states and I had to go to the cake shows to take classes because I couldn't just pull up a YouTube video or a craftsy class. I had to which was great actually. And this is why I think I'm so fired up about Periscope and learning about new techniques and products. I am so fired up to try new stuff. It's different than just watching a video. I don't know if it's because it's interactive. Thanks, Mrs. Cortez. If you have any questions, Bella's Desserts on Facebook, you can ask me. Thank you. You have a good day too. Oh, and I did another scope on that. If you look under my catch.me, there is a reality check video, Dolce Blue Bakery. You could check that out. Where do you live, Rain? That's it. You can ask questions live. That's why I think I like it so much. Rain was going to answer my question. You're in Georgia. Well, SoFlo in Miami is coming up in April. I know Kim is in Georgia. Well, Kim is in Florida, but she's moving to Georgia. Nicholas Lodge has a school in Georgia. Exactly. It becomes personal. I don't know. I love getting to know everybody, even though I've never met, but I'm really excited to meet people at Cake Fest Louisiana. I'm not going to SoFlo. Hi, Toya. I am going to Cake Fest Louisiana, and I'm going to probably National Area Cake Show in right outside of DC. I know, we get it, right? I love it too, because I got nobody to talk to about this stuff with. It's awesome. Right, and Nicholas has classes there that you can take. You're so lucky. The National Area Cake Show is around April 16th. They're all happening in April. Cake Fest is March 31st through April 2nd. National Area is around April 16th. I think SoFlo is the second week in April. But the National Area is literally 3 hours from here. So I just go for overnight. Yeah, all April. It's Austin, though. Isn't Austin in November? And then Alicia told me there's a Cookie Con and Sweets Expo in I know I can't wait to meet you, Brie, is in LA. And I know they just had a cake show in Orange County, California. So in most cases you have to travel. We don't have cake shows in Philadelphia. There's not even any cake shows that I know of in New York where it's a real cake show where there's classes and everything else. There might be in New York, I don't know. But I always have to travel. Nothing in Illinois. Really? Even with Chicago there? It's a shame. Just an expo. They have the Cookie Pop Con here in Philly, but that's a conference and it's not a show. You have to pay big bucks to go. I'm not interested in that. So I talked about that yesterday. I feel left out. All right. I know I could chat all day about cakes. American Sweet Show, but for vendors. Oh. Okay. There used to be a show in Atlantic City. This was my first cake show. I loved it because that's an hour and a half from here. But it got to be I don't know if they didn't get enough business, but they started bringing in frozen foods and all this other stuff. Yep. Where are you, Toya? I forgot what state you're in. I was able to find, I'm flying into New Orleans and renting a car. I would have had to rent a car anyway. You're in North Carolina? Why don't you drive? I'm flying out of Philly to New Orleans, and my ticket was less than $600, and I'm renting a car because I'd have to rent a car anyway, and it's a 2-hour drive. So Lafayette, where the show is really expensive to fly into. So look into Baton Rouge, or New Orleans is the cheapest, and rent a car or carpool. If anybody wants to carpool with me out of New Orleans. The only thing I don't like about Priceline is you don't know, there's usually multiple stops and you're not guaranteed. I don't want to say, I want to take a class on a day, so I don't want to fly in the middle of the night. Priceline, you don't have a choice as to schedule. So that's why I don't like Priceline. You should go. I'll carpool with you. I'm flying in on the 31st and I'm flying out on the 3rd because I'm taking a 5 o'clock class on Sunday the 2nd. So I'm just going to spend the extra night. And then the hotel, it's $99 a night. And the hotel is where the event is. So it's a Hilton something or other. But with my classes, my airfare, the car, and the hotel, my classes cost more than anything else. But less than $1,000 for airfare, hotel, and car. And I'm out of Philadelphia. Yes, they do have an airbrush class with that guy. Actually, it's 2 days. There's a beginner class one day, and the next day is an advanced class. I'm taking, with Riva, I'm taking a buttercream class, and I'm taking Jay's QuickBook class, and then there's a tattoo class on Sunday. And I'm flying in Friday afternoon. So I built time in there to walk the floors, which is really fun because the floors there'll be demos, there's stuff to buy, plus you get to chit chat with your friends. So, and I get to meet so many new people that I know from Periscope. I'm so excited. There's so many great teachers there. I mean, and a lot of people, Sarah Myers is teaching. Lizzo's not teaching, but she's competing. It's like, go. If you can go, go. I'm so excited. I've been watching that one since last year. And this year I'm going. Next year I'll probably go to the one that just happened in Orlando. I'd like to do that one, the Satin Ice one. Adriana, where are you? I'm not taking the airbrush class, but if you look on Cake Fest Louisiana website, you'll see there's a guy. I don't know his name. We all have to have SoFlo. Yeah, I'm not going to SoFlo. Boo-foo. Oh, Illinois. Well, why don't you go to Louisiana? It's not that far. It's just straight down, isn't it? Listen to me. Go drive halfway across country. I'm flying. No, for me, I think it's like a 2-day drive. I don't want to do that by myself. I just think it's cheaper to fly and faster. So, oh, your husband's cheap. Well, my business is paying for it. I wouldn't go unless my business paid for it. I never took classes. I never took anything unless my business paid for it. Oh, same thing. 16 hours, that's far. Unless you could find someone to do it with. If you know someone in Illinois who wants to go and, it could be fun. If there's 3 or 4 of you in the car, go pretty fast. Why couldn't he go with you? Or get a caking friend to go with you. 3 hours, you're lucky. Yeah, I wish I had things in driving distance, but I don't. I've taken classes in Manhattan because it's 2 hours away, but, I got to pay for a hotel in Manhattan. But it was well worth it, the classes I've taken. You don't have friends. Adriana! Well, make some! Start scoping and make friends in Illinois. You're competing too? Wow. I don't not have the balls to compete. I just don't. You're still looking for a roommate? Oh. You're cracking up, Adriana. I know. It's like, Denise will be your friend. Although Denise is in South Carolina. Oh, stop. You don't have any friends. I'll tell you, if you start periscoping, you'd be amazed at, like, Tracy Customs Cakery is, like, less than an hour from here. I didn't know before I started scoping. I'll be your friend. That's great. I'm so happy for you. So I will meet you there. Yay! Missed what, Sandra? Oh, cake. We were talking about Cake Fest. But I've already told Jay, I was like, since he wants me to get on QuickBooks, he needs to teach me now because I cannot wait till April. And now he's mad that I paid for the class. You can talk privately. Okay. And start getting fake friends. Yeah, right? Yes. Curly Duchess, exactly. Just speak up and say, hey, I'm here. I see, because when you go to a scope, you will see like what state they're in. Or if you find them on Facebook, and if they're in your state, hook up. we all love talking about it all day long, don't we? So that's why I'm so excited to meet people and spend like 4 days doing nothing and talking nothing but cake. Well, Rain, you got to do it more. See? I love that. And Bree was trying to get legal in North Carolina and she was asking for help. And I was like, I can't help you. And one of the scopes, like 3 or 4 of you jumped in and say, hey, I'm in North Carolina. They all hooked up and I think they're helping her. I know. Well, welcome Periscope Rain. I'm here every Wednesday morning, Eastern Standard Time at 10 a.m. to talk about business. And sometimes, yesterday I hopped on about paying it forward. And sometimes I'll come on and share some stories about like what happened, like I did yesterday. But again, catch.me, Bella's _ desserts. You can catch all my other Wednesday scopes about specific things about business. You're welcome. And then, you know, if you do scope and you don't catch, because when you when you watch replays, you can't fast forward. You can go catch me right now when I'm done and fast forward through all the stuff you missed and get to where you want to go. I love it. Oh, great. Love him. We're going to do a scope together when he's here in 2 weeks. I'm very excited. No, I'm baking today. I got if you watched, Borga, did you watch the, Alicia, when she got the skull cutters? I bought those. I'm so excited. They came yesterday. I'm making Lori Whisk Confection sugar cookies today, and I'm using Alicia's royal icing, and I'm going to decorate them tomorrow. So I've never done a stamped cookie. I actually ordered a cookie stamp with my name on it. It hasn't come yet, unfortunately. But yes, that's all happening tomorrow, and I will put stuff on my Facebook page. Pictures of the cookies. Wish me luck! Going out of my comfort zone. But I know Day of the Dead is past, but I've always wanted to do Day of Dead cookies, so. You have what? Oh, the cookie stamp? Oh, because the Cookie Pages uses it and it looks awesome. And actually, Alicia uses it too. Thank you. I ordered it from Etsy. I haven't gotten it yet, but they all use them and they look fantastic. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you. Contact me if you have any questions. Yeah, I wanted to use mine today. All right, you're welcome. I'll see you guys. I'm going to sign off because I got to go buy eggs so I can make the cookies. All right, love you guys. Have a great week.